Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Season 18, Episode 4, Afterparty of Married at First Sight.
Listen, Blair's voice is on 20%, so let's get right into it. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So our first group of people is Alan, and Thomas.
Yes.
So they start by looking at clips from the first morning of all the couples. Alan and Thomas both had great chemistry with their wives. And Alan thinks that someone stole the bracelet he got for Madison. He said that he ended up having to buy another one from Tiffany's because somebody probably pickpocketed it out of his house.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. And Akechi, all they pretty much did was cuddled, but that first touch warmed her heart.
Sweetheart. Okay, keep going.
She talks about how she's Nigerian, but she is American born. Keisha was asking her if she introduced any of like the Nigerian traditions as far as like the Nigerian wedding things into the wedding ceremony because she did see them spraying the money. And she said, you know, with Nigerian weddings, it's a lot. She didn't want to try to squeeze all of that, encompasses that into 2 weeks.
Okay, let's keep going.
Madison's family told Alan that he would not have a chance with her walking down the street, and they said he's the opposite of her type, which is a pretty boy.
Let's keep going because I got something to say about this.
Alan still doesn't know what a pretty boy is. He thought he came across as preppy or pretty boy, but she is the first American white girl that he's been with. He says he's a hit with the European girls.
Okay, so what is your thoughts on just how everybody and like their cousins is telling Alan, yeah, you're ugly?
I think Alan need to stop asking. If he don't want to know, he need to stop asking. But I can understand if he notices that they aren't really affectionate or like getting closer in that way, then that would be a question like, am I not her type? So maybe he just wants to get confirmation, but I feel like he's heard no enough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, here's what I feel. I feel like Madison is putting 20 on 10 with this whole, like, I'm into pretty boys. But as I said in the review, check that out, that you may be into pretty boys, but pretty boys ain't into you. Right?
At least not long term.
You have Alan. Stick with him. You get what I'm saying? And I think he's really setting himself up for everybody to say, yeah, that's not your type. Because here's how I'm thinking. For relationship to work, and I'm just talking about from this experiment, right? Somebody got to be on Alan's side. And no one on the opposite side seemed like they are on Alan's side. They just basically like, yeah, you're not her type. She's into pretty boys. But it's like, I want to hear somebody from her side of the family be like, you know what, you're great for her. You know, because sometimes in those private conversations that you have with your friends and family, people could be like, you know what, you are too good for him, girl, and things like that. So that's why I'm like, they keep telling him that, hey, if you was walking down the street, you wouldn't even turn her head, you wouldn't measure up. And I think he's going to, what is the word? Not like suppress it, but like, you know, like internalize it. And that will motivate his actions. You go see it in the external because he internalized it so much that's why he was hesitating. He got like, he don't feel as confident in the relationship. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Then, of course, Alan's father-in-law asked him about the STD testing. So Keisha asked, did everyone else have conversations about that? And Mim says that she automatically does that by herself and with new partners.
Makes sense.
Thomas says that he and Camille did have that conversation.
Okay.
We see Camille's brunch and the conversation about wanting children. Thomas felt like his family should have asked tougher questions, maybe like if she had any bad habits. But that's what his family wants for him, is a family.
Okay.
His brother has a 22-year-old daughter.
Whoa.
And he talks about how his brother did want to raise their families together. So his brother may be getting ready to have another child and would like Thomas to be a part of that.
No, hold on. Thomas be part of what? The sex? like
the cousins hanging out.
Look,
and,
man,
the cookouts and all the things.
Look, I understand that. We're twins, but we gotta go our separate ways at a certain point.
Right.
And the pressure should not be put on Camille for somebody who just met the family, right? Who just met her husband. You get what I'm saying? For her to feel the pressure of, hey, I'm about to, you know, someone who I've been with for a while, we think about having another baby. Hey, get on with us. Like, no, like you already should. In my opinion, Thomas should already forego whatever plans that he thought he was going to have with his brother and like his family, and really just dive in completely into what Camille wants. You get what I'm saying? Because whole time, like, now I feel like, in a way, and hopefully this is not true, Like, don't plug and play Camille because you just basically trying to knock off your goal list with your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, my family wants a kid, so we all can raise them together. Okay, I just need a body that I can stick some in. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, like if you go into this experiment, go in fully, and you may have to compromise.
Yeah. So apparently Thomas asked his brother what he thought about Camille right after the wedding, and the brother sent a long text. He told him that she was wonderful, and I read at the bottom to where he said, "Do not fumble this."
That sounds like a man that fumbles.
So we see MM's brunch with Ikechi's family and the conversation about him looking for a unicorn.
Yeah.
Hearing that made her want to run in the other direction. Asking anyone to be a magical creature seems unfair.
Yeah.
She wants them to be able to accept each other where they are.
Yeah. Now, my thing with that is, just to give you a background on who I am, I'm a Christian, right? I believe in the Lord, right? And I believe when the Lord speaks to you in whatever way that you can hear, you're supposed to do what he says. I don't know what religion you are, but the Lord just talked to you and you didn't run the other way. You ran back. And based on the trailer that we saw, based on the conversations that we believe y'all going to have down in the 60th episode of Married at First Sight, you know, it's going to be a long season. Y'all it's going to be proven that you should have ran away from this guy. And the fact that it really rubbed me the wrong way when they was like, hey, you know, how are you going to act, or how are you going to accept the fact that he's a poet? Okay. That he has a social media following? Okay. And that women approach him on the street and things like that. So what do I supposed to be?
Right.
Dude, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As we said in the review, in the recap, she, in my opinion, she is the one that holds the weight in this relationship.
Yeah.
She built the table and is the table.
Exactly.
So it's like, don't dim your light for this guy who's trying to, you know, get his, I guess, celebrity off of Married at First Sight. Anything you thought about that?
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
Okay, let's keep going.
So they could feel that Michelle was uncomfortable. Everyone could tell Michelle was uncomfortable.
Okay.
She was sitting away from David. Thomas says that if you choose to get married at first sight, it's not uncommon to show affection, because Michelle had said in a clip that it's weird. Everybody seems like they met each other before today.
Yeah. And
he's just like, well, it's not really weird. We're all kind of just jumping into the process. And Alan says, yeah, but you still have to respect people's comfort and where they're at. I think that was Alan speaking from the fact that Madison said he could hold his hand, but he kind of scared to hold her hand. So we see Ikechi and MM cuddled up in the pool. They had not seen each other naked yet, but she was telling him to take his shirt off because she just wants her husband to feel wanted. She feels like she's wanted by him as well. They talked about how they were both engaged before. He talked about the infidelity in his past. It was a red flag for her, but the remorse showed that he grew from that experience.
Okay.
Alan intended to propose to his ex, but their situation wasn't healthy. And Thomas says that he probably should have been engaged a time or two. He had been in long, serious, committed relationships, but he had a fear of failing. And that's why he decided to do Married at First Sight in an effort to push himself.
What is your thoughts on just that alone right there?
Thoughts on that is that she's noticing multiple red flags and ignoring them.
Definitely.
And I'm just, number one, I'm happy that she acknowledges like there's something off here, but it's not translating yet into her actually seeing him in totality as a person and like actually something's off with him. Yeah. And I will say, when it comes to like the infidelity thing, like it was 12 years ago, I could understand her giving him understanding for that because he was remorseful about it. But it's just one thing after another that just makes it seem like Ikechi will never be satisfied. Yeah. So. And
every time I hear Ikechi, it just always, I go back to when he was talking at the wedding to Amid's cousin. And he was asking direct questions, and he didn't take it as a conversation. He wasn't giving direct answers. You get what I'm saying? Kind of like he loved riddles. You know what I'm saying?
He's trying to outsmart who he's talking to. But we could see that you're just talking in circles.
Exactly. So I don't know how transparent he's being.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he knows what to say. And the thing about it is, it may come off as he is remorseful as she's reading into, because she really wants it to work. You get what I'm saying? So she may not be really seeing, or her senses may not really all be there, because when you really want something to work, you kind of like blind to everything else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if you think about it, like, he hasn't necessarily done anything
No.
to her.
No.
So that's why I'm not so hard on her for not like getting her bag and running.
No.
But it's like little breadcrumbs, like eventually getting her to the point of this guy is not for her.
Like I said, when we found out last after party that he has 30 glasses and he don't need glasses and they not real,
everything's for show.
Everything is for show. Let's keep going to like the second part of this.
So we moved to Carla, Madison, and David.
Okay.
There was a leaky bus, apparently. They were on a bus riding around Mexico, and Carla apparently got drenched. So Michelle told David about her meltdown.
Yeah.
And he talks about how he would have liked to know in the moment. He just felt that he wasn't able to do his part as a husband by not knowing that.
Yeah.
He's had disconnects in relationships in the past, and at those times he needed to communicate, and he may not have done that. So that's why in this relationship he's kind of over communicating in a way.
Do you know what's happening to David right now in front of our eyes? He's going to come off as the mature one in the relationship.
Oh yeah.
Based on what we seen Michelle in this episode, even when she was talking about her meltdown, she wasn't even 100% honest of why she was melting down, right? He's going to come off as the mature one in this relationship. Let's keep going.
So, and I also want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
I actually think David's doing a good job of communicating. I just think that Michelle can't handle it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing or saying anything that is too extreme. Even when her family was saying, you talk kind of fast and you kind of put everything out there. Yeah. I would rather somebody be blunt and honest with me and kind, because it's not like he's being mean about it. He's just being honest. Yeah. And but apparently that's too much for her.
Too much.
You know, that's probably why they're not a good match.
Yeah.
Carla would not have been bothered if her husband still lived with his family. She just would have asked some more questions.
And that's what I'm saying, Michelle. You have the liberty to ask more questions, but instead you're now being passive aggressive. Like, I don't see how a 30-something-year-old man would want to live with his parents.
She asking, "Are you embarrassed? Why would you ask somebody that?"
You better hope you got the best spot in the city. You get what I'm saying? Take your time.
Madison was on a high at the wedding.
Yeah.
They didn't have too serious conversations, so she really wasn't triggered at the wedding. David felt the disconnect with her at the wedding night, but he was willing to give her some space. He still kept hope that they could work things out eventually. Juan's dad asked Carla how she made her money, and she talked about how she's a hairstylist, Pilates instructor, and she talked about them building their businesses but wanting to stay home to raise a family once she had children.
Yeah.
She says that she loves what she does, but she'd rather get into other things as far as conversation, like what makes you happy, what fulfills your soul.
Basically fluff. Nothing.
And Carla says that her mom was her best friend. She was a stay-at-home mom, and that's a connection she wants to have with her children. Now, I'll say this.
Help me.
What Carla wants, I think, is fine. If Carla wants a lifestyle to where she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and focus on the family and focus on the emotional well-being of her family and her husband, that's not a bad thing. That's fine. But you shouldn't have come to Married at First Sight for that.
No.
Because Married at First Sight is not a place for millionaires and billionaires, okay? And normal day-to-day working people in this economy, you need 2 incomes in order to make a house hold comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think that Carla, I think she thought she was going to hit jackpot when she come to Married at First Sight, but girl, you in the real world with real people. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. With her, the only thing I disagree about is, okay, let me do a hard stop. There's nothing wrong with her wanting to be a stay-at-home mom. Hard stop.
Right.
Right. I don't want to add nothing to it. I don't want to take away nothing from it. I don't want to combine the 2 sentences. Hard stop. Next sentence, right? I don't believe her intentions are pure when it comes to that, when it comes to being a stay-at-home mom. I think she comes off as the type to, like, want to be she don't seem like a person that is a homemaker, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, because she did ask him to stir the coffee for her.
Yeah, so it's like she doesn't seem like the type that would take care of the home. Something as simple as the husband, Juan, saying in the episode, hey, that's too much money for carrot juice. And she's like, well, money is energy. That don't sound like someone that go take care of the home. That sounds like someone that goes use up all your energy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, like, she seems like someone that wants to be taken care of besides someone that wants to take care of.
Yeah.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like she wants to basically have this soft life, this life where she could just lay back and use the kids as an excuse to be home and do nothing. While at the same time, let's not use being a stay-at-home mom as like a get out of jail free card. That's hard too.
Yeah, it sounds like she kind of doesn't want to be an equal partner in any way.
Yeah.
Not just financial, but when it comes to catering to wants, needs, and working together as a couple to make their goals happen for their family.
Yes.
So I can see that side too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Madison shared how this process was a lot,
Yeah.
and Keisha asked her what shifted. Madison says the night of the wedding, she was surprised with his choice of outfit. At bedtime, he wore hot pink broccoli underwear and a loose t-shirt. He's a quirkier dude, and she's not really used to that. And Keisha tries to say, well, he does kind of have an interesting swag about him. And then Carla starts laughing. I'll tell you this. I think Alan got a little bit of swag. The way that when we saw his section, he has a confidence about him, and he has like an easygoing personality about him that I think is enjoyable, Yeah. So I could see what Keisha was saying, that he does have a little bit of energy to him,
But let me tell you the problem with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why Alan should stop asking, just like you said, right? But asking about, hey, is she into me? Is she into me? What's going to happen is, because he doesn't feel confident, it's going to leak out. It's going to show. And also, when she's not into you, this is where it's going to be hard. When she's not physically attracted to you, everything you have to do, you basically have to be a unicorn. So if she's not physically attracted to you, you got to make sure what you wear is A+. You got to make sure that like what you say is A+, because she's trying to find other things to attach to. So because she's not really into you, she can harp on, his little broccoli underwear kind of, it's weird. It's quirky, because she's not into you. If I was to wear broccoli underwear, I would never wear broccoli underwear. But if I was to wear broccoli underwear with my wife would not even look at that as like a minus. No. Because it's like, she's into me. Dude, you get what I'm saying? But because she's not into him, every small thing that she don't like is just going to be like, it's just going to be magnified, you know?
So they get to the do-over section,
yes.
And Madison says that she probably wouldn't have told Alan in front of the whole group that she was having some anxiety. She would have pulled him to the side and just clued him in on where she stood.
Yeah.
Then we see David's conversation with Michelle when he slept on the couch. And he said he got up, he was hungry, he ordered food. He also felt uncomfortable because he could feel the disconnect when it came to her. So he did sleep on the couch to give her space. It wasn't just he ate and fell asleep. Carla thought it was disheartening that there was so much pressure between them.
Yeah.
She feels that Michelle wasn't inquisitive enough and wasn't trying to learn more about David and his interests, his past accomplishments, because when he brought up the physique competition, Carla said, I would have asked him like, oh, like, what did you win? How many competitions? Like, just trying to get to learn more about him and his past, but she was stuck on the fact that he lived at home.
Yeah.
And Madison said you can see that Michelle was overthinking.
Let's change that word overthinking to uninterested. You get what I'm saying? She's not interested in...
Or being judgy.
Yeah, judgmental. You can tell she's judgmental.
Yes.
Perfect word, right? Because that is a perfect... Listen here. You're at an all-inclusive resort, right? Meaning that, hey, don't be mad at me if I want to order food at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at me. The kitchen's open.
And I tell y'all, we've been there. The taco slap.
I don't know. I don't think I've been there. But my whole point
the taco slap there.
But my whole point is... The problem is, like, if he feels like he can't even get into bed with his wife, it's because he feels the disconnect. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we got Madison and Alan's conversation about wanting to move towards connecting and not like she wants to push him away.
Yeah.
Madison does appreciate how communicative and patient Alan is. She's trying to put her best foot forward, even though she's going through a roller coaster of feelings. David can see that they're both trying. Alan might be a little overwhelming at times due to their conversations. And Keisha was like, you calling somebody overwhelming?
I'm about to say.
Carla says that we're all having fun, laughing. She brings up when they were all hanging out at one point. Alan was ready to go back to the room, and then he was just staring at Madison. And Carla was wondering why he was staring at her so intently. And Madison was like, he could have been admiring me. I mean, it's the first few hours that we've been together. And Keisha said, or maybe he wanted Madison to come back to the room with him, and he was a little bit annoyed that Madison wasn't leaving. Madison says, well, it's not like he ever asked, but Keisha says maybe he didn't articulate that he wanted you to come back too. Carla says that, everyone there is just kind of analyzing and forming opinions about themselves and each other. So everyone's just trying to figure out where everyone is at.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that Keisha's theory is right, because Keisha even said something like, girl, you got a husband now. Like, he wants to be around you.
Yeah.
So he probably is annoyed that you want to stay and dance and partying with everybody else, and he wants to have some one-on-one time.
Exactly. So, she's not into him, guys.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think, well, I feel like she is 100% just like, I signed up for this. I'm going to be a good sport, but I'm not into this guy. And he's already shown insecurities, in my opinion, by keep asking her, like, so what are you into if you're not into me? I thought I was a pretty boy and things like that. Like, you are basically making yourself a target to be hurt, in my opinion. You get what I'm saying? Because you're like a nice guy, but not like a nice guy in the sense of like, you are the nice guy that finished last.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you are the nice guy that like people don't see and things like that. And I think he set himself up for heartbreak.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
No, that's literally all she has. I think we went from 20% to 5%. I'm going to use this last 5% to get one more show off today. I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see y'all next time.